What's going on, guys? It's Keefe. In today's video, I wanted to answer a viewer question on how to stop caring what people think of you. Now, before we get into that, I made this channel to build better men. So if you're a guy who's out there who's looking to improve his life, become a high value man, hit the subscribe button and bell icon. I put out new videos every single day to help you do exactly that. So let's get into the video. So as I said, guys, this was a viewer question that I got that I thought was really good. I'd actually been planning to make a video on this topic, so I figured when he asked the question, I might as well just go ahead and put it out now. Now, when it comes to not caring what people think about you, it really just comes down to a few things. It's also really important to understand that this is a natural thing. It's natural to want to conform. It's a biological part of yourself. And the reason being is, from an evolved perspective, you were more likely to survive if you went along with the herd, right? If that herd mindset, because basically, you know how maybe you're in a crowd or something, like all of a sudden everyone kind of looks in a certain direction, or you see somebody start looking at something and all of a sudden you look in that direction too to see what's over there. That's kind of an evolved thing, because the idea would be that if another person finds something important or thinks something's the truth, then you should probably take that seriously, because you don't know everything as a human being. So you should probably, for your own survival, be concerned with what other people think. So in order to get past this, you need to have courage and self-confidence. The best way to do this, I've found, is to have strong reasons for why you're doing the things you're doing, right? Because here's the thing, if you don't have a strong reason to go against the crowd, then you might as well just do what everyone else is doing, because that'll just make your life a lot easier. So when it comes to something that you feel like you have a different truth than the crowd, maybe it's you want to go in a different direction, you don't feel like, for me, I ended up dropping out of college, and that was something that I felt kind of uncomfortable talking about, because I thought a lot of people were going to judge me for that. But I had a very strong conviction that that was the right decision for me to make, and I think I've been proven right over the long run here. But at the time, it was very weird, and it was kind of like, I mean, everybody I was friends with was going to college and stuff, and so I had to, the only reason I was capable of having the self-confidence to do that is because I believed in my reasoning. So if you're going to step out and do something different, you should have a rational defense for why you're doing it. Otherwise, there's no good reason to do it. Now, the next part of this is there's no real tactic to make this super easy for you. You're just going to have to get comfortable with the discomfort. Same way if you're in sales, the first few calls you're going to make are going to be really uncomfortable, or approaching a girl for the first time is going to be really uncomfortable, but you just have to step out there and do it, and you'll get used to it. You'll realize it's not a big deal. Learn to just accept that feeling of discomfort in yourself when you're doing something that you find uncomfortable, that's just against the grain, right? It can also help if you do these things called stretch experiences, where you basically go out and you kind of dissolve your ego in front of people by doing something that your ego finds perhaps embarrassing in public. And this just makes you realize that all that shame and fear, it's all irrational, and there's really no reason to feel it, right? The idea that you'd be ostracized from the tribe, which is basically the fear that's going through your mind when you're worried about the idea of going against the grain or people thinking something about you, it's hardwired in you from this idea that, like, back in the day, if you got thrown out of your tribe, you were probably going to die out in the wilderness, right? So it's been very important throughout time that you got along with the tribe, that you went in accordance with what the tribe believed. But in today's world, that's just not the truth. So if you can consistently prove to yourself that you're not going to die, that nothing bad's going to happen if you do what you believe in, regardless of what other people think, then you'll get more and more comfortable with it. Also, as you start to do these stretch experiences, or even just in general, just do things that you believe in that other people might disagree with you on, and you start to be proven right consistently, you'll get more and more confident to really step out there, right? The first time you do this, you don't have to believe in something completely different, like a completely different worldview. Maybe you just decide that maybe all your friends are stoners, and you decide that smoking weed is not going to help you get where you want. So you stop with that, right? And they're going to think something about it. They're going to think you're judging them, or their self-judgment is going to be put onto you, and they're going to criticize you for it. They're going to think something about you. Why aren't you getting along? Why aren't you just not judging us? All these kinds of attitudes, right? And you're going to have to go up against that. And that's kind of like a starting point. And once you've done that, you can do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. You can get more confident with it as you prove that you're making good decisions. But again, you've got to first step out there and do the thing and just have that confidence in yourself from the first time. And it's really Before you have the confidence, it's really the courage. You just have to have the courage to go against the grain. Now, the last thing I want to say on this, guys, is, and this will really help you to perhaps just take that risk and break out and do something different, is to recognize how often people are wrong, how often the crowd is wrong, right? I mean, you don't have to look any further than the Bible, right? I mean, they crucified Jesus and let a murderer go, right? I mean, that's what the mob does, right? They don't think clearly, right? People live completely in fear or anger or these primal drives. They don't think clearly. They don't have reasons for why they're thinking things. If you ask somebody why they're doing what they're doing, most of the time they don't know why they're doing it, right? It's that herd mentality. Like somebody stands up to start giving a standing ovation to something, suddenly everybody else feels like they got to stand up. It's this whole like thing of like conformity and the need to do this. There's been so many social experiments done on this where you can get people to do just the most crazy things once you show somebody else doing it. Basically, once you show that basically they will feel more normal doing it, then all of a sudden people will do things you just never expected them to do. There's been all kinds of things where, like, there was a story of a police group, a police squadron, I believe they were in Germany, and they were sent into Poland during World War II, and they were supposed to maintain order over German-occupied Poland. And at the beginning of the mission, they were told, look, you guys are going to have to do some very violent stuff on this mission. And nobody wanted to back out of the mission. None of these police officers, these were just normal police officers from Germany. And none of them wanted to back out of the mission because they didn't want to look like the one guy who chickened out like around their amongst their peers. So they all end up going into Poland. And by the end of the book, they're shooting pregnant women in the back of the head in fields and things like that. Like you just see like over the book, you see this slow progression of people's willingness to do things they never thought they were willing to do just to conform with the crowd, right? It takes a lot of courage to stand up against the crowd, but when you realize they're just wrong most of the time, I mean, like literally more often than not, the crowd is wrong. And if you can get that into your head, you'll feel a lot more confident standing up for what you believe in. And especially in today's world where you can connect with people all over the globe, it's easier and easier to have a different opinion because there's somebody else out there that you can connect with who will also agree with you on that. Guys, if you got something out of this video, give me a like so I can reach more guys through the algorithm. Hit the bell icon and subscribe button. And if you're interested in learning about my Better Man coaching program, my one-on-one program where we work every single week to help you become that high-value man you want to be, the guy who has the success externally, talking about money, relationships, the body, as well as internally feeling like that confident man, the man who's not afraid to go against the grain. He has that self-confidence and that truth that resonates within him on his purpose. If that's something you're interested in learning more about, becoming that man, schedule a free consultation with me in the description box below. I'll look forward to speaking with you on that. And again, guys, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.